Have you? Sorry, this is a little bit of a tangent. Have you been
Go
watching
for
the
it.
American stuff over the weekend?
What of the American stuff? Because it just keeps coming.
Yeah, and it feels a little bit like a coup. A little bit. Um, Basically, Elon sent a bunch of people into a very boring but very important government department, and now has access to an enormous amount of information about where the US government spends its money. People's personal information, emails, social security numbers, all of that sort of thing. And this is an unelected person with a kind of made up government department that hasn't been approved in any way, sending just random employees to plug personal laptops and take hard drives from federal databases and federal servers. And it just seems like it's so fucking crazy that people just don't know how to react to it. And so that combined with an absolute stop on a huge range of funding and grants, which includes veterans benefits, disabled benefits, um, overseas programs like USAID, as an example, that all stopped. And then in the streets in several major US cities, a dedicated campaign from ICE to find illegal immigrants is kicking off. It is a very, very scary place in the US. And I think people are starting to notice how fucking batshit insane it is, but nobody really seems to know what to do about it. It's sort of like there's no real comparison to what's happened here, but I think it's the fact that same sort of thing here, blown away by the speed and the way that this government has dismantled a whole lot of stuff here. That is what's happening in the US.
With far more money, far
Kicked
more
off the
people, and far more implication, I guess.
like Trump blowing up the free trade agreement that he set up with with Mexico and Canada. He's kicked off a trade war with his two near, like it's just insane. No, like nothing works. Um, I'm sure you've seen Trudeau's speech to Americans that was doing the rounds over the weekend. Like that might
We will
save
retaliate.
his career. Like
Yeah, it's true.
like big chunk of Canada really doesn't like Trudeau. Like for a very similar reason, he was the leader through COVID, and we know how well leaders through COVID uh, did. People don't like him. Um, but this is United Canadians in a way that hasn't happened in a long time. So his very strong position of like, well, okay, if you want, but this is going to hurt you, has united people behind him in a way that might save him in the upcoming election over there. Don't know if it's enough to undo the damage, but it's being seen very, very favorably in Canada.
Um, Going back a little bit in time, being 4 days ago, this image
Mm.
came out of I believe it
Oh
was
yeah,
the FBI, I think, building, or the
yep.
CIA, one of the
It's
ones.
the
That
FBI
whole,
Officers Training Academy. I
yep,
think
the
that's
whole
where they
wall,
train their leaders.
yep, just completely getting painted over. So they are,
They have gone boots and all into enforcing Trump's anti DEI stuff.
mm-hmm.
And it's very clear that everybody's got their own interpretation of what that means. I saw a statement from, I think it's a US senator who is in a wheelchair. And he was railing against DEI stuff, and it needs to be scrubbed from government. Someone pointed out in the comments that, like, if the Capitol building or the Senate has a wheelchair ramp, that's there because of DEI. So the fact that he doesn't have to tip himself out of his wheelchair and drag himself up a flight of stairs, that's DEI. Like they don't get it. I saw an image from, I think it's the National Cryptography Museum, because of the interpretation that DEI putting women forward and that sort of thing. They had to cover in
Mm.
brown paper their exhibit about female code breakers. It's
Oh.
unhinged, and I just wonder at what point do these edicts from Trump filter out to these government departments that someone's just go fuck no, I'm not doing this. No, line in the sand. Like he is doing some stuff that is going to hurt people.
Mm.
Remember with the wildfires in LA, he was saying that was because they weren't letting water go into
Mm.
Canada. They weren't opening the dams.
Yeah.
He made an order to open a couple of dams up at the end of last week. Ordered the Army
Mm.
Corps of Engineers to release water. That those dams were there to save water for the upcoming dry season. The catchment of
Mm.
those dams does not go anywhere near LA, and he has borderline flooded farmland
Oh shit.
now and won't have enough water for summer because of that. It's just a knee-jerk reaction. And it is 100% fuck around and find out time because the district that happened overwhelmingly voted for Trump.
Mm.
So it
Yeah.
is super, super weird over there. Like it's weirder than his first term. And I
Mm.
think that is because he has less adults in the room at this time.
Yeah. And he knew that that was the thing that was going to enable him to do this shit.
Yep.
Which is why he's employed or got very close ties to a bunch of people who are not politicians, who are not lawmakers, and are in fact corporate billionaires who have their own private interests, i.e.,
Yep.
Musk is now at the
Yep.
helm. Speaking of, we were talking about the federal funding. Elon Musk and Trump 2 hours ago are shutting down US aid.
Oh,
We're
Jesus
shutting it down, he
Christ.
said. At another point, he said, we're in the process of shutting down US aid. Musk did not say what legal authority he believed the White House has to shut down a federal agency without congressional approval. This is something else I learned as well, that Congress is the one who actually approves a lot of this stuff, typically, and they are not doing shit
Yeah.
to block any of this. They're the ones that are in charge of the funds, make sure it's allocated the way that they want. They're not doing shit.
The Democrats don't know what to do.
Yeah.
They're not rallying behind anybody. They don't have a plan. A lot of them are going along with his picks for key government positions because again, this is the left sort of being the party of conciliation. Let's build bridges and that sort of thing. It's like no, 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 no. You're helping him. You're helping him. Don't dig your heels in. Make this as difficult as possible. Yes, some of your colleagues absolutely grilled them during the Senate hearings, but then confirmed them anyway. USAID, that you can draw a direct line there. That's people dying. Like that's an enormous amount of food aid that goes to Africa. Areas and deep drought and starvation, all of that sort of stuff. That's a program that has been around since World War II. As yeah, you could say, look, it's a propaganda move by the US. You know, all of the stuff is branded. This has come courtesy of the US. We've come to help, all of that sort of stuff. But at the end of the day, that is keeping people alive. At the moment, I saw a comment from someone that's working for USAID in Somalia at the moment and said that the food that they have there will last a matter of days once it gets cut off.
Yep.
So America first.
Mm-hmm. Uh, in a post in X, Musk added that he spent the weekend feeding US aid into the wood chipper. These are his words. Could gone
hell.
to some great parties, did that instead. And then saying regulations basically should be default gone. Default gone, not default there, default gone, he said, although he did not make clear if he was speaking for himself or for others in the administration.
Jesus, that's scary.
Yeah, this is our shot. This is the best hand of cards we're ever going to have, he said, now or never.
Wow.
So, yes, and it's scary how much of the stuff I keep listening to. I think it was the press secretary lady in her first stand-up last week that was just absolute,
Oh, she's
just
dreadful.
batshit crazy.
Yeah.
Some of the stuff that she was saying eerily echoed what our ministers were saying in a
Yeah.
different way, but very echoey of like, it's about economy, it's about growth, it's about, all of these things. And I was like, that sounds very familiar. Sort of austerity playbook, but this is beyond this. This is like authoritarian dictatorship playbook.
I saw a thing being shared around that said and I have no idea. Look, it's a meme. I don't know how true this is. But it was saying the average empire lasts for about 250 years. And America's at 248 at the moment.
Right on time.
It does feel it does feel like the autumn days of the Roman Empire here. Maybe the Canadians are going to end up being the barbarians coming down from the frozen north. They burn the White House again.
Yeah. So fun times in America, but no, it does not get lost on me what's happening over there. It's just there's so much between here and there. You just don't know what to do, eh?
It seems to me also like Musk is going after civilian federal programs and that sort of thing. What happens when they try and withdraw from NATO? Like, this is something that the European countries have been terrified of, and it's it would tie, like, it's crazy, it's fucking crazy, but at the same time, it ties in with some of the things that Trump is saying. If he wants Greenland, you can't take it off a NATO member. If you're not in NATO, it doesn't matter anymore. It's just bizarre. Just crazy stuff. Talking to my friends in the US, a couple of them work in the federal government, and it is a mix of confusion and just very real fear for the way it's going. There is a subreddit on Reddit called Fed News that is used by a lot of federal workers, and it's panic. It's absolute panic.
Understandably.
Yep, absolutely. Like, they're not, the CDC is no longer reporting stuff about the bird flu. So people don't have any information on how that's spreading or what they can do to stop the spread of it. It's a multi-pronged attack on so many critical things. Some of them are very, very obviously critical. Some of them are boring critical. Like, you wouldn't look at them. Like, an unelected person now has all of the contact information, all of the personal information, names, birthdays, social security numbers, addresses for every federal employee. I think it's something like 3 million people. That is fucked. That is very scary.